Live, where news comes first. This is ABC-7 with breaking news.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for ABC-7 at 6. I'm Eric Alkin.
And I'm Stephanie Valle. We begin with breaking news. Governor Greg Abbott named his appointed replacement for El Paso District Attorney Ivan Rosales. And moments ago, we learned County Attorney Joan Bernal filed a motion to dismiss the case against Rosales after the appointment of Hicks. El Paso Attorney Bill D. Hicks replaces Rosales as the new district attorney of the 34th Judicial District. He will finish her term, which runs through 2024. Hicks will lead the state's case against accused Walmart shooter Patrick Crusius. The private practice attorney worked as an assistant DA under Jaime Esparza from 1998 until 2010. Hicks will become the first Republican district attorney for El Paso, Hudspeth, and Culberson counties. Rosales agreed to resign late last month, and this is video from December 1st when she appeared in court to discuss several accusations against her office. She didn't answer any questions, invoking her Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. Rosales stepped down after a defense attorney filed a motion to remove her, citing the dismissal of nearly 1,000 criminal cases because the DA's office did not file charges in time.
But the biggest controversy for her came when someone representing her office was accused of impersonating and threatening the family of a Walmart shooting victim's family. That person is Vinton Municipal Judge Roger Rodriguez. You can see Rosales with Rodriguez here a day before the second anniversary of the Walmart shooting. She was presented with a rosary in memory of the victims of the massacre. And we have an update on Rodriguez. An open records request from the village of Vinton shows Roger Rodriguez has not been reappointed to his position of municipal court judge. His term will end on December 31st. Rodriguez had served in that position since 2007. He's accused of threatening and impersonating the family of a Walmart victim while acting as a representative to the district attorney's office.
And we continue with complete coverage of the rise in migrant crossings in the borderland. We want to show you the new video today of the large number of migrants who are across the Rio Grande and to turn themselves into Border Patrol agents. In that video, you can see the migrants waiting to be processed. A fence near the border barrier closed, and as the drone footage pulls back, you can see how long the line of migrants is. As part of our complete coverage, we do have more on the impact the surge is having across the borderland. The El Paso International Airport is experiencing long lines as holiday travel ramps up and migrants are trying to leave El Paso. Hundreds of migrants have been staying overnight at the airport. That's where we find ABC-7's Dylan McKim reporting on how the city plans to ease the pressure at the airport. Dylan.
Yeah, Stephanie, if you take a look behind me, you'll see some of the migrants have decided to camp out right near the information center in the airport. Tickets are getting harder to find as we get closer to Christmas. Not only are thousands of migrants flying through the airport, but El Pasoans are traveling for the holidays. A proposed plan by the city is trying to get migrants to fly out of a different airport. El Paso continues to see thousands of migrants cross the border, and once they enter the country, they're trying to leave El Paso through the airport. But the timing couldn't be worse. The airport is already crowded with holiday travelers. It's making it harder for migrants to find a flight out of town in a timely manner. Each night over this past weekend, city officials say the airport saw between 500 and 600 migrants staying overnight, and the numbers are expected to rise.
But those numbers continue to climb, and that will be a concern. I mean, there's only so much footprint there. We have a lot of travel going on. There's numerous people looking to get in and out of town, and this is just above and beyond that right now.
The city hopes to start a busing program to send migrants to nearby, larger travel hubs where they can find a flight more easily. It's different from the program earlier this year that sent Venezuelans up to New York City.
They have a means to get to where they're going. We're just going to connect them with the transportation hub so they can get there.
But the city will need funding for this. They've asked the federal government for $4.7 million up front. It's unclear if it will come as they wait to be reimbursed for millions more. As the airport deals with holiday travelers and migrants, the El Paso County Processing Center is looking to help with the overcrowding. And I'm not talking about this processing center, which has been open for more than a month. No, the county has something bigger in mind. The site can process about 650 migrants a day and gives migrants a ride to the airport. The county is looking to move into a bigger facility that can process 1,200 migrants a day and is big enough to allow migrants to wait for their flight at the facility rather than at the airport. Now, the airport allows people to stay in up to 12 hours inside before their flight, and the city is allowing migrants to stay overnight in an airport conference room if their flight is early the next morning. In fact, they're even closing off a portion of the food court to set up cots at night to allow people to sleep because of how many people are actually staying overnight. As you heard in that story, 500 to 600 people a night over this past weekend. And, you know, it allows people actually to stay inside as we are enduring those cold temperatures outside. Reporting live at the airport, Dylan McKim, ABC-7.
All right, Dylan, and a group of volunteers is driving across the U.S.-Mexico border in order to help migrants after they've been released. The group, called Witnessed at the Border, has been in El Paso for the past few days and has been distributing food, blankets, and jackets to migrants stranded in the streets of downtown El Paso. Our ABC-7 crews saw large numbers of migrants near the Greyhound bus station as they wait to depart to the interior of the country. One member, Sandra Grace Martinez, says part of what is causing the bottleneck is that families are being released at different times, and those who are released don't want to leave until the rest of their family members are also released. She says she's concerned about migrants having no place to stay at night and enduring the cold temperatures, as well as the lack of sanitation being provided for the migrants.
Really, we need bathrooms, we need porta potties, and if no one comes up with a porta potty solution in the next 24 hours, I will pay out of my pocket. But that's just a level of dignity that I would wish somebody would please help. Because as you can smell, there's urine. People are going to the potty over there. Okay, so you can smell it. It's not okay. There's a level of dignity that we can do better as Americans and to provide those just essential needs.
Martinez is also calling for the community to do what it can. She says there is a dire need for jackets, mittens, and masks for the migrants who are not used to these cold temperatures.
Governor Greg Abbott is asking Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton to start investigating non-governmental organizations, which he suggests may be helping migrants who enter the U.S. illegally. He issued that directive today, and U.S. Congresswoman Veronica Escobar of El Paso is responding. Following the rise in migrant crossings in El Paso in recent days, Abbott said in his letter to Paxton, quote, "We understand NGOs may be engaged in unlawfully orchestrating other border crossings through activities on both sides of the border, including in sectors other than El Paso," end quote. Meanwhile, Escobar says the action is a partisan stunt, saying, quote, "Governor Abbott's decision to investigate NGOs that are providing humanitarian care for migrants is shameful and intended to intimidate and instill fear in nonprofit and faith-based organizations that exemplify the values we should all aspire to." In his letter, Abbott said he'd be willing to sign any legislative solutions Paxton may propose.
One Las Cruces shelter may soon have no choice but to shut its doors. Lack of funding means El Calvario United Methodist Church may have to stop taking in migrants. ABC-7's Will Heron visited the people of El Calvario, and migrants shared what the assistance they've received has meant for them. Will reports from our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom.
At the El Calvario shelter, we spoke with a migrant family who just came here from Nicaragua. They said they know what it's like to be in the cold from sleeping in the streets of Mexico City. They also said they didn't know what they would have done had not the El Calvario shelter given them something to eat and a place that's warm to sleep. After traveling with his wife and son from Nicaragua, Luis Moises told us some of his friends who were also along the journey weren't so lucky.
Moises told us when you are released from the detention center, you have absolutely nothing. Nowhere to go, nowhere to sleep, and nothing to eat. He says he's very grateful for the shelter and sad that it may have to close.
He knows the importance of the El Calvario shelter, but without funding, they may have to turn away those that need help the most.
I can't wrap around it. My brain just can't comprehend. The need is there. Why are we not being able to help them? Why are we not open to them, to 100 people again? Like I said, that might not be a big number, but that's 150 people less that are going to be in the streets.
The people of Las Cruces have been helping the shelters any way that they can, like Gabriel Mendoza, the owner of the Shed restaurant in Las Cruces.
El Calvario Church is one of those places that accept people without any judgment. They accept them and they help them.
With time running out for the shelter financially, Mendoza has one regret.
I wish I could do more, and I hope people will do more.
If you'd like to donate to El Calvario shelter, you can come down here in person or you can go to their website. We'll have a link for you online here at the El Calvario shelter in Las Cruces, New Mexico with the New Mexico Mobile Newsroom. I'm Will Heron, ABC-7.
The Storm Track weather now. We want to get our weather forecast from ABC-7 Storm Tracker Sarah Coria. Sarah.
Well, Stephanie, it was a chilly day outside. If you were outside, you likely felt that wind chill. That is expected to stick around. But will it affect your Christmas forecast? We have more on that coming up a little bit later. For right now, we want to give you a look at your current totals. It's 40s in the El Paso region. This is below average for this time of year. With those cold temperatures expected to stick around, we'll tell you how cold it's expected to get coming up.
All right, Sarah, thanks. An 80-year-old man was stabbed to death by a family member this morning. The stabbing happened on the 300 block of Colmillo Drive. Police say a 25-year-old man stabbed his elderly male relative. Neither the victim nor the suspect have been identified as of the time of this newscast. There were 4 other people in the house. No children are believed to have been in the home at the time, and it's unclear what led to the attack, but police arrested the suspect.
The family of a man killed during a train derailment is suing Union Pacific.
The wife of Mario Navarro speaks about the person her husband was and why she believes the company is to blame for his death. And in Storm Track weather, Doppler.
All right, here's what we're tracking. You know, if you're going to be heading out tonight, temperature is going to be falling into the 30s. The winds coming down, not going to be too bad out there, so no massive wind chills that we're going to have to deal with. But we'll talk more about your forecast, how it looks the rest of the week, including the weekend coming up.
This is ABC 7 at 6.
Where news comes first.